Hello, this is Vernon Birmingham with the Kansas City Teacher Residency, and we are here with our Career Changer Conversations. This is a series we started doing a couple of years ago, and we love this because what it does is give an opportunity for our residents or teachers to have a chance to talk about the process they went through when they made the decision to transition from whatever professional career they were in to becoming an educator. So today we have with us Michael Page from Cohort 7. He's going to be joining us as we talk about, again, the in and outs that go into making a decision to enter the teaching profession. Michael, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, thank
Good.
you. So again, to thank you for taking time with us today, and we're going to just go through a series of questions
Sure.
to get your perspective on things related to making this transition to education field. So I guess my first question I'd like to start off with is what were you doing professionally? What were you doing previously before you decided to make the jump into becoming
Sure.
an educator?
Sure. For 27 years, I was in the private sector, in consumer lending, mortgage lending. The last 10 years of that were in executive leadership roles. And the further I moved up the ladder, the less gratifying the career was. It was no longer a purpose-driven career. And so, in long conversations with my family, I knew I wanted to make a career change, but did not know what that was. So it took a while to get there.
So that leads to my next question. Teaching. How did it become the choice to say I want to become a teacher?
So over the last 15 years, I've had some buddies I've known since the fourth grade. And every once in a while, they would remind me, why haven't you started teaching yet? You've been talking about this for decades. My wife and my family says that as well. And really, ever since the 8th grade, I had a teacher by the name of Patrick Holston. And he stood out because he looked like me.
All right.
And he was a unicorn, if you will, in the field at that time in the public schools system that I was in. And what stood out about him is not just that he looked like me, but he held us accountable. He cared about us, and most importantly, the thing he did no one else did was he culturally understood us. And so I don't remember a lot about what any of my teachers said or did, but I absolutely remember how he made students of color feel. That was 35 years ago. And so I seen him and I said to myself, I think I could do that. And I just got sidetracked for 30 years.
That's remarkable. That is remarkable because we talk often about representation matters, and kind of hear that being one of the leading reasons why you decide to become an educator. It's refreshing, as that's a drum we beat often when we're going out recruiting educators. So you talked a little bit earlier, one of the conversations you had to have was with your wife and things like that. But what was the process you went through for yourself to actually make the jump from the mortgage field into education? And what process did you kind of go through internally or as a family? Or what?
The first process is I had to, finish the conversation with my wife and even to an extent our daughters. This can be real. There's an opportunity where I could realize what I've been talking about for a long time. So let's talk about the details. So there's a lot of conversation about the financial piece of it.
Right.
When you have had some success in the private sector for a while now, that's a serious conversation. It's a little bit easier when you have a spouse that's successful in her career. That may not be the situation for a lot of people. So I was lucky in that sense. And the time commitment. So the financial piece and the time commitment are the two things I had to have a lot of conversation around. But what I wanted to do was like a no-brainer because, like I said, I've been talking about it for so long.
So you talked about it for so long. You spent, I think you said, 30 plus years
Yeah.
in the other arena. And to make this jump, you got over the financial piece, you got over the time piece. But outside of that, this is the big thing. After you're doing the same thing or something similar for a long time, what reservations or fears, if you had any, did you have before deciding to finally say, you know what, this is what I want to do?
the financial change is a fear. Still is, but it's we've talked about it. Like I said, with my family. Fears.
And you may
Not really fears, but I would tell you this. There's some things that that what's the word? You may have to cut this part out. It's strenuous. Like that, I was told about the time commitment to this, but until you really get into it, to really understand the time commitment in the fall, you don't know until you're actually in it. It's worth it. Don't get me wrong. It is absolutely worth it. But that's a lot.
So what was it? What was it that finally had you say, you know what, let's do it. I'm going to do this.
So that goes all the way back to how I heard about it. So I have a buddy, and I value his opinion. And he was about to become a retired state trooper, and we were in his pool talking about our second careers. And because I think highly of I value his opinion, I was telling him about a teaching career, and he brought your name, right? And said he's known you for years, and he thinks highly of you. So a lot of times it's about relationships.
Right.
The relationship sometimes can help a decision when you know people involved that are trusted by people that you know.
That's good. That's good. So you're halfway through this first year of the residency thus
Mm-hmm.
far. How would you describe it so far?
It's exactly as it was advertised, right? You know, everything that I was expecting has come to fruition. It's not easy. Like I said, it's time consuming, but it is absolutely well worth it. And even the structure really benefits me. I prefer when I learn something to use it as quickly as possible. So the whole how it's structured, where the academic piece is all day Monday and Wednesday, a lot of what we talk about I can observe or try and what we call an at-bat that week. So I like that it's not school for 2 years, then the classroom. It's a good combination.
So let me ask you this, and this is something I ask all of our residents or graduates. And again, if you're just joining us, welcome again. This is Vernon Birmingham with the Kansas City Teacher Residency. We're sitting with Michael Page from our cohort 7, and we're just having a conversation about career changing and what that looks like as you enter the profession. So the next question I have for you, Michael, is what skills or attributes or things were you able to take from your professional career and use those in the classroom, if any?
Oh, there's actually quite a bit. In a leadership role in the private sector, you have to be an effective leader. And a part of being an effective leader is a good communicator, a good listener, lots of patience, striking a good balance between accountability and grace. All those that are used on a daily basis in the classroom, just like in the boardroom.
That's good. That's good. And that's a piece we talk about often with our individuals thinking about making a change, is the fact that there's many things that you learn or many things that you've garnered over the years that you'll be able to use as you transition to the classroom. So it's very good that you hear that. So Michael, again, we thank you for your time. I'm going to end this with one final, I guess it is a question, but what piece of advice would you have for someone who's thinking about making the transition from professional career to the teaching profession?
One, make sure everyone in your life that's going to be impacted by this career change, they've had a chance to ask every last question that they absolutely have, no reservations, complete buy-in, I think, is really critical. The financial piece, the time piece, all of it combined. Two, I would say, if you have an opportunity, spend some time talking to a few folks from previous cohorts. I think that you can glean from them and be able to ask them certain questions that you'll get a different perspective from someone that's been in it for 2 or 3 years. So those would be the top 2 things.
Excellent, excellent. And of course, I did just say that was my final question, but I'm going to based on something you said.
That's all right.
Important.
That's all right.
Having a support system in play. You talk about your family, and a lot of individuals consider it a cohort. If a part of that, how important is it for you as you go through this residency year to have a support system there for you? I guess who would be your support system?
Well, the outside of KCTR, obviously, it is my wife, girl dad of 3. So that's the immediate support system. But what I really appreciate in addition to that is the support system within KCTR. It has been even better than advertised. Not just the relationships I built with the other residents, and we talk frequently throughout the week. The support system in regards to the continuum coach, and just all the various instructors that make themselves available to you. You have a lot of good folks rooting for you, supporting you. If you were not successful in this program, I don't think it would be because of lack of support within KCTR.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Well, Michael, we thank you again for taking time out of your schedule. As you mentioned, it is a busy schedule that you're dealing with, so we appreciate you taking time to spend with us, as well as continue to inform other potential teachers of what this process might look like. So, again, we thank you for taking the time to join us by watching our Career Changer Conversations. We're going to have be sure to check them all out. Michael is just one of many that we have this year and throughout the years. But also, always feel free to check out our website at kcteach.org. Again, this is Vernon Birmingham signing off.